Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at Just Keep Swimming _podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I'm your host, Mr. 13, back at it again for another great episode. Just covering an episode for Adrian today, just to give him a little bit of a break. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about a certain topic and a certain phrase that I've been saying, and I've found myself saying recently. It is "c'est la vie." I believe this is French, and the literal translation for this means "such is life" or "that is life." Recently, I feel like some personal things have been happening, as well as things happening to the people around me, and all I have come to say to it in the sense is "c'est la vie." This is just how life is. And the reason why I feel like that's an important message to kind of get out to you guys is because I notice we try to control life and its outcomes in so many different ways, when sometimes you just have to accept life for what it is. Going out of your way and doing things can have you focus on not the right things, especially if it's pertaining to a certain situation. It's not really focused on how to get through it, rather than just focusing on, you're not really focusing on how to get through it, but more so focusing on just the issue itself. And there are some things in life that you can't necessarily explain or understand, hence the word "c'est la vie," such is life. I had a friend pass away recently, and as you know, as Adrian talked before, we also had a couple of deaths in the family as well. But this friend that did pass, even though we weren't necessarily close, more so recently, it still hit a bit different. And there's a lot of complex feelings with this individual personally, but I would never wish any ill upon anybody. But hearing this news kind of hit a little different, given that it's a person that's close to my age, and it's also probably the first person that I known outside of my family that was somewhat close to, like, at a certain point in my life. And again, like I said, he's around the same age, and the way he passed and the fact of him just passing in general was kind of a big shock to me. So with that, of course, emotions came, and I kind of had to sit through it a bit, not only on the day of hearing it, but also at his celebration of life. And I could try to figure out, and it's probably good to think about it and ponder. I'm not saying I shouldn't do that, but I feel like I can't get hung up on the fact that he has passed, because this is just the cycle of life. This is just how life happens. It's random. There is reasons that I may not find out of why it even happened in the first place, but that's just how life is. And I feel with embracing the phrase "c'est la vie" kind of embraces that unpredictability and just allowing yourself to accept the things that may come along. I also had other peers that were going through heavy decisions, and they were trying to cope with what they truly feel and what they truly want out of that situation. And, as we get into those types of debacles in our head or decisions that come through life, it's just good to self-reflect and figure out what you really want to do, but sometimes we don't have that luxury, and sometimes these decisions are heavy, and you just have to figure out what you are going to do about it rather than the problem itself. Hence, c'est la vie. Why is this happening? I don't know why this is happening, but it is just happening, and that's just how life is. Just like when somebody hits the lottery. Oh, how did this happen to me? Like, why? Whoa, why me? Or you almost had a near-death experience and now you're alive and you're like, why me? Just in the ways that life happens in a negative way, it also happens in a positive way, and there may not be any rhyme or reason as to why it happens. It is c'est la vie, such is life. I feel like I have a little bit easier time accepting this phrase, and I use this phrase a lot too, just because as you know, I'm a gamer, and the types of games that I like to play are called roguelikes. And with these games, you have this run, you have this playthrough that's always random, and the things that are going to happen are just random. There's no rhyme or reason. It's random, and you just have to adapt to what the circumstances are, or on what circumstances are given. And I really like these types of games because it kind of always keeps you thinking on your toes and like seeing how you can flip a situation into your favor if possible. But a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie, you end up losing. You die, and then you have to start all the way over again. And it's like, ooh, damn. Don't focus on so much of why it happened. Maybe you do know why it happened, maybe it don't. Maybe it was a bug, maybe it was a glitch, maybe it was just a skill issue. But it happened, so what are we gonna do next? Start the next run. How could I do better at that next? Okay, then after I figure out or come up with a theory of how to do better, it's time to just do it instead of trying to theory craft the perfect way, because in life, c'est la vie, such is life, you can't control everything and every outcome. You can plan all you want, but nothing will probably work exactly according to plan. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But you don't know, because c'est la vie, such is life. You never know what's coming up next, and you just kind of have to shrug and move on. And this kind of brings me to my end game. I wanted to kind of keep it short, but I want to reiterate that we can't control much in this life. We can, as you've heard Adrian say before, it's like you can only control your thoughts, your actions, and your reactions. You can't necessarily control the life itself. So focus on what you can do and what you will do when the time comes to it. Make the best of what you have. You may not have everything, but hey, there's people called engineers for a reason. We find out a problem, we may or may not have it, and then we figure out how to do it. You just gotta figure it out. And then the last thing I want to say is you never know what will happen until it happens. I feel, and this is speaking personally too, especially from my past, like I used to be so scared and anxious and things like that about, oh, what will happen if I make this decision? What will happen if I don't make this decision? What will happen if something happens and I didn't expect it to happen? And it's like I get caught in these mental loops before I even get to do any action. And I feel like if you just put your foot out forward and just go into the situation and adapt, then you'll figure it out. Maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't, but don't get stuck on the thought of if it will go well or if it won't go well. Just go out and see what happens and deal with it, because you never know until it happens. So yeah, that's just the message I want to leave with you guys today, centered around the phrase "c'est la vie," such is life. If you like this message, or if you have any comments, or if you want to share your own experiences or your thoughts, feelings, whatever have you, you know how to contact us. You can contact us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can shout out to us on our email, which is jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that, I leave you with a marvelous morning, a splendid afternoon, and a gracious evening. And remember to just keep swimming.